Okay, let's unpack this. You ever catch yourself or maybe someone else saying something like, I'll try to get that done. Maybe I'll try to make it work. Sounds totally reasonable, right? Even humble. We all do it. But what if I told you that simple phrase might actually be subtly undermining your effectiveness? Especially if you're, in a leadership role or frankly just trying to get things done in your own life.
Well, what's truly fascinating here is the immense power our language holds. And this deep dive takes us straight into a compelling new piece from Phoenix Performance Partners. It's titled Moving Beyond All Try, written by Kevin Davis. And this article absolutely unpacks that very idea. Our mission today, really, is to understand not just what the problem is with this seemingly innocuous phrase, but why it matters.
Hmm.
On a deeper level, neurologically, and most importantly, what tangible, practical steps you could actually take to build real accountability, both within yourself and across your team.
Right. And what's truly intriguing, what this article really gets into, is that we're not just talking about semantics here or like word choices. We're delving into how our brains are wired, how we lead ourselves, and crucially, how we lead others effectively. I think you're going to find some real aha moments here. Stuff you'll want to apply immediately, whether you're leading a big team, a complex project, or just, your own daily tasks. So let's jump straight into the core assertion of this piece, the hidden cost. The often invisible cost of simply saying, I'll try. The article makes a powerful point. When you use that phrase, you're essentially creating an escape hatch before you've even started. It's like signaling to your own brain and to everyone around you that failure is an acceptable option, almost before you've taken the first step. It's unconsciously communicating, yeah, I'll make an effort, sure, but honestly, don't fully count on me to actually deliver.
Precisely. And the internal impact of this is, well, it's truly profound. That simple word try can actually rewrite your own internal operating system. Our brains, remarkably efficient as they are, they're hardwired to conserve energy. So when your brain hears I'll try, it implicitly interprets that as, oh, okay, there's already an out here. So I don't need to commit all my resources, all my neural pathways to achieving that specific goal. You've quite literally given yourself permission to fall short before the journey has even begun. It's fascinating.
Yeah, and the real world examples the article provides really drive this home, don't they? I mean, think about the stark difference between these two sets of statements. On a personal level, I'll try to lose weight versus I will lose 10 pounds by March 1st. That feels completely different. Or in a professional setting, I'll try to improve team meetings compared to I will implement a new meeting structure starting Monday. Much more concrete. And for leaders working on team development, imagine the difference between I'll try to give better feedback and I will have development conversations with each team member this month. Huh. I know I've caught myself saying I'll try to get to the gym. And wow, it's amazing how quickly that commitment just evaporates.
Uh-huh. And what those second statements do, those I will statements, it's remarkable. Neuroscientists actually refer to it as creating an implementation intention. With an I will declaration, your brain immediately starts mapping out specific pathways to success. It's not just a vague wish or, a hopeful thought. It's a direct command to your prefrontal cortex, the executive center of your brain, basically telling it to get to work on making this a reality. It's truly a neurological shift. It's not just psychological.
Hmm. So it makes you wonder then, if this phrase is so clearly detrimental, why do so many of us, even really good leaders, still fall into the try trap so often? Is it purely psychological, or is there something else going on that makes it feel like the safer option?
It absolutely boils down to psychology, largely. It just feels safer.
Yeah.
Our unconscious mind is incredibly adept at protecting us from the vulnerability that comes with public commitment. It really is. When we say, I'll try, we're essentially managing expectations for others, and maybe even more significantly, protecting our own ego from the potential disappointment of, well, not achieving something we publicly committed to. It's a powerful defense mechanism, often hidden but powerful. The crucial trade-off here, though, is that you're choosing short-term emotional comfort over long-term effectiveness. You're prioritizing feeling safe now over achieving something important later, which, especially in the leadership role, can have really significant lasting ripple effects. Comfort over purpose, essentially.
Right. So this isn't just some vague psychological quirk we're talking about, is it? You mentioned neuroscience. This is actually rooted in how our brains function. How does our language physically rewire our brains when we shift from try to will? What's actually happening in there?
That's exactly right. It's very much a neurological phenomenon. When you utter I will, it engages the prefrontal cortex, that executive center we mentioned, in a fundamentally different way than I'll try. This commitment language actually activates what researchers call the goal-directed network. And this activation creates stronger, more efficient neural pathways toward achieving that specific goal. You are, in essence, telling your brain unequivocally what to prioritize, what resources to allocate, which is just incredibly powerful when you think about it.
Yeah, the analogies the article uses are incredibly potent here. They really bring this concept down to earth. Think about it.
Yeah.
No bank accepts a loan application that says, I'll try to repay this. Can you imagine? Just
Yeah.
no. Or think about something as fundamental as a marriage. No one expects or wants vows that include, I'll try to be faithful. That's not how it works.
Not at all.
And certainly, no successful business operates on the premise of, we'll try to deliver value to our customers. It's just not how high-stakes commitments work. So given those analogies, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? If we wouldn't accept this wishy-washy language in these critical areas of life, why has it become so common, almost accepted in our leadership roles? Is there a way to break it down, understand the different degrees of commitment we might be using without realizing it?
Absolutely. And to help us understand this better, the article introduces a very useful framework, the 4 levels of language commitment. It really clarifies things. So level 1 is, I'll try. As we've explored, this creates an immediate escape route. It significantly reduces accountability, both for yourself and, in the eyes of others.
Right, the escape hatch.
Exactly. Level 2 is, I hope to. This expresses a desire, maybe a wish, but it still lacks any concrete commitment or a solid plan for action. It's an aspiration, not really an intention.
Still pretty passive.
It's very passive. Then level 3 is, I plan to. Okay, now we're getting warmer. This shows intention. It implies some level of structure or thought has gone into it. There's maybe a nascent plan, but it's still not a full declaration of accountability. Getting closer. And finally, level 4 is I will. This truly is the gold standard. I will creates clear accountability, and as we talked about with the neuroscience, it activates those achievement networks in your brain. It's a declaration. It's action-oriented. And the article really stresses the critical importance of consistently operating at level 4 for truly effective leadership. But it's also crucial to understand commitment isn't about guaranteeing perfect outcomes every single time. That's unrealistic. Life happens, circumstances absolutely change, we all know that. Instead, it's about taking full ownership of your efforts and being genuinely accountable for the results, whatever they may be. It's about integrity, fundamentally, not infallibility.
Okay, so that framework is super helpful. Level 1 to level 4. Try, hope, plan, will. So with all this understanding, how do we actually make the shift? Going from trying to true commitment, because it's one thing to hear it, another to actually do it right. The article gives us some fantastic practical steps, things you can start applying immediately. So what does this all mean for you, the listener? How can you make this shift in your own life, starting today?
Absolutely. The first step, and honestly, often the most challenging, is simply to start with yourself. Just observe. For just 1 week, become hyper-aware. Notice every single time you use try language in your daily conversations, your thoughts, even your emails. Simply becoming conscious of this ingrained pattern is the foundation step. That begins to change it. You really can't change what you don't notice.
Awareness first. Got it.
Exactly. Next, the moment you catch yourself using that try language, consciously replace it with specific commitments. Don't just make a mental note. Actually rephrase it. So for instance, instead of thinking or saying, I'll try to be more present in meetings, immediately reframe it. Something like, I will put my phone in my desk drawer during all meetings this week. See?
Yeah.
That's a clear, actionable,
Specificity. Yeah.
which leads right into the third step. Make your commitments time-bound and measurable. Vague statements like, I'll try to communicate better, are just far less effective. Transform them into powerful declarations like, I will send a weekly team update every Friday by 5 p.m. The specificity and the deadline are absolutely key to truly activating that commitment in your brain and for others.
Measurable and time-bound. Makes sense.
Fourth, and this one can feel a bit vulnerable sometimes, create public accountability. Share your commitments with others when it's appropriate. When you tell your team, for example, I will have individual development conversations with each of you by month end, you've just created an external pressure, a form of public accountability that powerfully reinforces your internal commitment. It makes it real, and it often provides that extra push we sometimes need.
Yeah, putting it out there definitely raises the stakes.
It does. And finally, the article wisely advises us to embrace the discomfort. Making real, specific commitments does feel vulnerable. Why? Because they genuinely matter. That feeling of discomfort isn't a sign you're doing something wrong. It's actually a signal that you're growing, that you're stepping outside your comfort zone and into a space of greater impact and integrity. It's really a sign you're on the right track. Don't shy away from it.
That's a great point about discomfort being a sign of growth.
Right.
Okay, so those are practical steps. Awareness, replace with specifics, make it measurable, public accountability, embrace discomfort. But that public accountability part, it sounds incredibly powerful, but maybe a little daunting. What happens when you, as a leader, start making that shift consistently? Does it actually create a ripple effect through the whole team?
Oh, there absolutely is a remarkable ripple effect. It's one of the most powerful outcomes. When you as a leader consciously stop saying, I'll try, and consistently start making clear, definitive commitments, those level 4 I will statements, your team begins to mirror your language. It's often not something you even have to explicitly ask for. It just creates a powerful cultural shift. The culture of accountability within your organization strengthens organically. People start to trust that when you say something will happen, it truly will. Or you'll communicate clearly if it can't. It just builds confidence and clarity across the board. It's quite amazing to watch.
And I imagine there's a profound internal impact too, right, on how you see yourself.
Absolutely. You begin to trust yourself differently. Each kept commitment, big or small, powerfully demonstrates your integrity. It proves to yourself that you genuinely do what you say you'll do. And that integrity, that self-trust, is the absolute bedrock of all leadership credibility. It builds confidence not just in others' trust in you, but deeply within yourself. You walk taller.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so this brings us to what the article calls the commitment challenge. I love this. For the next 30 days, the challenge is simple. Eliminate, I'll try, entirely from your vocabulary. Just banish it. It's a straightforward concept, yet incredibly impactful if you really commit to it. Think about it. What do you have to lose? Except maybe an old habit that might be holding you back from truly operating at your highest level.
Exactly. And the article provides specific options for how to respond when someone asks you to do something. So you're not just saying, I will to everything without thinking it through. That's not the point. You have 3 powerful integrity-based choices. 1, yes, I will do this specific action by this specific time. That's your clear level 4 commitment.
The gold standard.
Right. 2, no, I can't commit to that right now. This is an honest, integrity-based refusal. If you genuinely cannot take it on, you say so clearly without ambiguity or false hope.
Which takes courage sometimes.
It does. Or 3, let me think about this and get back to you by specific time with a clear answer. This gives you space to assess, but crucially with a specific commitment to respond, maintaining accountability for your decision-making process. And it's so vital to clarify, this isn't about becoming rigid or inflexible or unwilling to adapt. Life is fluid. Circumstances do change. Unexpected things happen. And when they do, you absolutely can renegotiate your commitments. But the key is you do so from a place of integrity, from a conscious choice and clear communication, rather than having that built-in escape route from the beginning with a vague, I'll try. It's about intentionality in every response, every single time.
It really shifts the focus to ownership, doesn't it? Owning your yes, owning your no, owning your, let me get back to you. Ultimately, this language of commitment transforms more than just your words. It sounds like it profoundly transforms your identity as a leader. When you consistently do what you say you'll do, people begin to see you as someone who can be counted on, someone reliable, someone who gets things done. And as the article eloquently states, maybe more importantly, you begin to see yourself that way.
That's precisely the core message here. Commitment is about replacing that unconscious pattern, that habit of giving yourself an out with the conscious, deliberate choice to take full ownership. It's a powerful shift from the language of maybe powerlessness or hedging to the language of authority and capability. It's about moving forward with clarity, purpose, and genuine impact.
And as the saying goes, which the article powerfully reminds us, there is no try, there is only do or do not. Yoda knew what he was talking about. So the question for you, the listener, is, which leader will you choose to be? So as you go about your week, we truly challenge you. Pay attention to your language. Notice the tries. And maybe even take on that 30-day commitment challenge. See what happens. What do you have to lose? Except perhaps an old habit that might be holding you back from truly operating at your highest potential.
And maybe one final thought to mull over. If we connect this to the bigger picture, think about the compounding effect, the seemingly small change in language. What could it do if applied consistently, not just in your professional life, but in every aspect of your personal life too? What could you truly accomplish? It raises an important question for all of us, I think. Where else are you giving yourself an out without even realizing it? And what might become possible if you eliminated try from your entire existence?
Wow. That's a powerful question to end on. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the power of commitment and moving beyond I'll try. We hope you'll continue exploring these ideas and applying them in your world. Until next time.